We're back. Hey, we've changed our schedule. There's some BTS problems going on for our show, so that means y'all will getting more episodes weekly, except for the week of the 4th. 5 total episodes, a bonus episode. So yeah, back again. I'm Quincy Lell.
I'm Audrey Williams.
And with us, special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I would love to introduce myself. My name's Caroline Smith. I'm the producer of this show. And you know that BTS reason why the first episode was late? Yeah, that was my fault. Sorry. But I hope that you like the episode more for the length of time it took me to edit it.
Yes, please appreciate. Y'all probably can't tell, but Caroline has saved you a lot of headache as we've been figuring out how to do editing this summer with lack of studio access, shall we say. Caroline is our savior of grace. This show would not exist without her. She is our one and only producer.
Dude, the crash out that I had on Thursday night,
yes.
Trying to log in, and just to give the audience a little bit of context, normally we edit the show in the Adobe Creative Suite, but I don't have that on my computer because I am not willing to pay for it, so I have to use free software, including Audacity and iMovie, and starting the editing for this podcast was maybe like the 3rd time ever that I opened up iMovie on my computer. It was a headache.
Yeah, I bet.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. Audrey and I similarly don't feel like paying for Adobe. So
Yeah, definitely not.
Also why we're relying on Caroline for this. Normally, we all split editing pretty, I guess, what would you say, like 3/4 us, 1/4 you, Carol?
Yeah, I don't do that much during the school year.
Yeah, it's totally okay. We wouldn't have a show if you didn't exist helping us.
True.
So it kind of evens out. So not BTS, I guess, but today, this episode, we're going to be talking about Ghibli Fest. Maybe y'all have heard of this crazy studio called Ghibli. Releases movies every year, movies that normally have already been released, except for like, a few recent movies in the 21st century. Crazy enough. We're going to go ahead and cover not only our favorite movies, hopefully without spoilers if we can avoid them, but also this year's Ghibli Fest, which is shorter than compared to last year's, which we might talk about too. Which of the movies from this year's schedule we are most excited to see return to theaters, as well as talk about Kiki's, because it came out recently. I guess not really recently, but it's the only one that's fully out, so we can talk about the movie, as well as maybe touch base with Ariete, depending on how time goes. How do we feel about that?
I feel great.
I feel pretty good.
All right, Audrey, kick us off.
So definitely spoiler warning for like not every single Ghibli movie, but in general, every single movie that we're going to be talking about today. We're kicking it off with our favorites, and my personal favorite is Princess Mononoke. It wasn't, it's so good. It wasn't actually the movie that I saw first, which like I know that the Ghibli movie that you're introduced to doesn't have to be your favorite, but like I feel like for a lot of people it is.
I feel like I would say similarly to that. I get you.
My first one was not my favorite either.
Yeah.
My first was my favorite for a while. I watched Spirit Away first, so that's a pretty top tier one to start.
That's like solid to also have as your favorite though. Like that's
that's true. Like that was my first also.
It's top 3. It's top 3.
I think I first watched it. Ooh. I don't know actually. I think I was just like going through Ghibli movies at some point and I wanted to watch that one because I think that the first time I watched that it wasn't like with friends or anything like a lot of the other ones that I've seen, or at least a lot of the ones that I saw first I saw with friends at the time. Princess Mononoke I think I watched by myself the first time I saw it, and it was instantly I think my favorite movie. And even though like there's just something about it that I like
for a reason.
To watch more than the other one. And not to say that the other ones are bad to me. It's just like the story out of all the other ones I've seen that I think I enjoy watching the most.
Yeah, some of them really do have more plots than other ones.
And it totally makes sense. Part of it is to not only tell a specific story, but also just tell a specific character. And characters don't always live by their stories. That's kind of how I interpret the different types. I actually saw Princess Mononoke alone as well for the first time, which was in theaters. And I can't remember if that lessened my enjoyment of it or not, to be honest with you. Because I will say, a lot of the Ghibli I saw for the first time was with you, Audrey, when we did it that year for Ghibli Fest. I think it was it was the 2023 year. That was fun.
I've never seen Princess.
You need to. It's so good.
Yeah, it's like one of the top, I guess 4 now, acclaimed, I would say, most acclaimed. Like I would say It, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, and now Boy and the Heron are probably the most acclaimed, if only because of the award nominations and slash winning, right, for Oscars and such. At least to my knowledge. If you don't know Ghibli, you might know of those 4. But my favorite, little cliche, I think, but it's probably The Boy and the Heron. I very close, like it very narrowly beat out for me The Wind Rises, which I really love. The only reason I chose Boy and the Heron is because I thought about which one I would want to more rewatch as of me right now, and that's just The Boy and the Heron. And I don't know if it's because I've seen that movie less, or if I genuinely like it more. I just love how beautiful the story it tells just feels human in such a crazy world that Miyazaki has again created out of the craziest worlds we've ever lived in for these stories in general, outside of just this movie. It doesn't hurt that the score and animation are fantastic, though, of course.
The first time I watched Boy and the Heron, I think I've only ever seen it once.
Okay.
And I don't want to say that I didn't like it, but I will go so far as to say that I don't think I understood it.
It's one you have to watch a second. I understood what was happening, but not everything, and I really only appreciated it the more I watched it. The second time through, I felt a lot more comfortable to get everything that was happening, not just like the main story beats, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Definitely a movie you should watch at least twice to fully accept and like appreciate what is being told.
I saw it I saw
together.
it once with you, Quincy, and then
Yes.
I think it was I went back home for like a weekend or something like that, and I saw it with my friends back home, and then the day after I came back to Columbia and I watched it with you.
Yes.
And I watched the dub first and then the sub. I mean, it doesn't really impact the story itself and your understanding of it, but it's really interesting because like in the dub is so fun. Most of the Ghibli movie dubs are really fun, but that one has like Robert Pattinson doing the voice of the heron, and it's really
I would
cool.
never have known it was him though.
I really
forgot
without
about
being
that.
told. Yeah.
See, how could you forget? I think I noticed.
No, I knew it was him, and I was waiting to hear his voice, and I was like, I could not have placed his voice in a million years.
Me neither.
He was doing so well. Like, I could place Mark Hamill, I could place Christian Bale, those two immediately. I was like, yeah, I got you. I know you too. But anyone else? The dub and sub in Ghibli movies, equally good. Not that dub is always bad in anime, but like, budgets.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. Anyway.
I'm a big fan of Ghibli dub. I usually watch them.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, they are good. I like them.
Yeah. And again, you know me, big sub girl over here. The fact that I watch dub in Ghibli means something, doesn't it?
That says a lot.
True.
That says a lot for an anime fan like you.
Thank you.
That.
Saying you prefer the dub in any.
Again, it's not that I dislike dub actors. They get the short end of the stick, They have to translate and put personality into something that technically already has personality in someone else's voice and language. So it's not exactly the easiest role to take on. However, my brain does this little thing where it's like, oh, if the voice doesn't sound like it fits, it doesn't like it, and it moves on with its life and switches over back to Japanese.
Yeah, it's so much harder than being like a regular voice actor in animation. This reminds me what you just said. A couple weeks ago, I was on a plane, like a really long flight, and like the entertainment system on the back of the headset. So I was going to Germany. So I was like, oh, how fun would it be if I translated some of these movies, like just even simple Disney movies that I've seen before, into German dub, so I could see how well I could understand it. And the answer is I could understand it decently okay, but I tried to watch Cars, and I don't think I made it 2 minutes in, because it's not even that I couldn't handle the German. I couldn't handle that it wasn't Owen Wilson. It really took something away from the whole movie.
Yeah, I forget that he voices Lightning McQueen. That is real.
It's unforgettable. Let me tell you, when it's not there, you notice.
I think I would have a similar problem if I watched Lion King, because while I don't always remember it's Matthew Broderick, I immediately know if it's not Matthew Broderick voicing adult Simba. I get you. Anyway, Carol, what is your favorite movie?
Okay, so I have a good top 3 favorites that are really super close to me, but I picked one above the others. So my top 3 are easily Whisper of the Heart, Porco Rosso, and Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind.
Nausicaa's my top 2.
totally up there. But
Yeah.
I picked Whisper of the Heart to talk about right now.
Yes.
Because that, of those three, is the movie that I cried the first time I watched it.
That's so fair. I was getting emotional when I was watching it.
Quincy, I'm going to borrow a statement that you said about Boy of the Heron, about how you were talking about how that story feels so human, and that's why you like it. And I would say the same thing about Whisper of the Heart. It just feels so raw. Like the main character is like this 12 or 13-year-old girl, and she's just riddled with anxiety about everything. And the level to which 13-year-old me, and honestly even 22-year-old me,
hands down,
relates to this little girl and the emotional plight that she's going through over the course of the whole movie, and the way that it ends, like the specific ways that it happens to end up in her favor, and even in the ways that it doesn't. It's like secretly everything that I kind of want for myself. I just relate so much to the main character and the way that she grows over the course of the film that I sobbed multiple times the first time I watched it, and I still get emotional most of the time.
I think the only thing that kind of took me off guard, and probably why I didn't cry in that movie, because it was really good and emotional, was just the country roads bit. I was like, what am I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait, isn't that the one that we saw together?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, I can't remember if I've seen it or not.
Yeah, we
but
have.
Yes.
Do you remember the awkward country roads moment? We were like, what's going on?
The country roads bit is weird, but the scene in the middle where it's like it's late at night and she's at this other people's house and they're playing it with these homemade instruments. That's like one of the most. It's just country roads. It's a John Denver song, but it's the most beautiful piece of Ghibli music.
No, for sure.
It really comes from.
Yeah, I feel like honestly the human part is very applicable for almost, I would say, like 99% of Ghibli films.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only. Is there one I've seen that I couldn't describe? There's one I would find is a little more fantastical, I think, that I've seen, and it's not necessarily not human, but there's so little like non-fantastical happening, I feel like, in that, but
yeah, I feel like I could divide Studio Ghibli films into the categories of this movie contains a series of events that happen, and this movie contains a legitimate plot that you can follow that involves character development.
Yeah.
And as an adult, I really fall into the second camp of the ones that I like. In my top three, I would throw into this movie has complicated, bordering on political plot over the course of it.
Yes.
Like I would describe Nausicaa and Porco Rosso like that.
However, I would also describe them as series of events that just happen. There is a sort of plot, but it's not like the characters really developed from that. It's more their own interactions with other characters that cause those characters to develop.
Right, and that's the first camp that I mentioned, and there's still an insane level of beauty in that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely like Boy and the Heron. Like, I guess there's a little character development, but not that much.
But you just get to join those characters for 2 hours while these events are happening, and that's the escapism is beautiful. Yeah,
I feel like the reason Ghibli is so beloved and is just its writing and its worlds, right? Like the characters are phenomenal and the stories are phenomenal. Even if not everyone loves them equally, that's not the point. The fact that people love them at all is the point.
I mean, even what you were saying about like not every single one has like fantastical stuff in it. Even the ones that do, like, I don't know, it's just something about the way they're told. Almost every single one you can find something. I mean, I don't even know that you have to relate to anything in those movies necessarily to find them emotionally, what's the word? Emotionally, like, appealing, I guess. It's something about them. Every single one that I've seen is very beloved to me.
Speaking of every single one we've seen, this year's Ghibli Fest has now become one I've actually seen the majority of, unsurprisingly, with how small it is.
Why is it so short?
It's so short, however, it is usually this short. Yeah, last year was like unexpectedly large for how many anniversaries they jam-packed into the schedule. And I still hold a grudge from not being able to see most of the ones in summer because I was in Utah and there's no freaking Regals in Utah.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Aside from the one Audrey mentioned, which is the Princess Mononoke like 40 thing they released, like, I don't know, March? Was it this year?
It was like way before they announced Ghibli Fest.
It was so before Ghibli Fest announcement, and I will say I was also upset how late the announcement came this year, but it's just because when the first movie actually airs, or aired technically, because Kiki's delivery service did air May 17th through 21st, so it's the first one, and it's already aired. So if you haven't seen Kiki's, sorry, you won't see it in theaters this year again. It's already happened. But check next year. It's like 99% chance it'll show up again. It's like for the last 4 years I've seen it on the list since 2022.
It was definitely on there last year. Was the Halloween one?
It was on there last year. It was on there 2023 because me and Audrey saw it together, and then, or maybe not actually. I saw it with my dad. JK, my bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never seen Geek.
No, you're so fine.
Pieces? I haven't. No, I need to, but I haven't watched it.
It's okay. Like, you either wait next year or just find a way to play it for free, totally legally.
Yeah.
It's one of, gotta count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that how math works? 8.
I think there's 8, yeah.
Yes, one of 8, which actually, now that I think about it, Carol, you might be right. Usually there's 10, I think.
I think this is shorter than usual.
I think this is shorter, and I think, honestly, it might be a response for maybe not as much attendance last year, because think of how expensive it is to host those. Yeah, I see people come in the theaters, but it's not, like, sold out or anything.
Maybe if they would pick good ones.
Ooh, this year's really good.
Not true.
I will say, this year has a pretty good lineup. There's only 2 I haven't seen, and one of which I think is less acclaimed than the rest, but I say less acclaimed in, like, popularity, right? Which is the next one, which is The Secret World of Arrietty. I feel like that's talked least of all these on the list, and it's coming out this month, in fact, in a week, the 22nd to 24th, so by the time this episode comes out in a couple days. So check it out. I certainly plan to, because I've never seen it. It's one of the 2 I haven't seen. And then we have My Neighbor Totoro, classic, fan favorite, coming back July 19th through 23rd. Grave of the Fireflies is also coming back this year, which I don't know if it was airing last year, actually, for August 10th through 12th, because I know it wasn't playing in the 2023 one.
I don't know if it was... remember. I feel like it just hasn't been in theaters for a while.
It hasn't been in theaters for a while. No, I agree with you. I don't think it's been in theaters either the last 2 years. So this is pretty big for it to come back. That's cool. I also haven't seen it. Want to see it in theaters for I know, at least I think it still is on Netflix, but I really want my first time to be in theaters with it. So I'm going to go see it in theaters. Ponyo's coming back August 23rd to 27th. So we got so we got 2 of them in August going on. Pick your poison. Preferably watch both, even if not in theaters. Howl's Moving Castle. Obviously, it's going to come back. It's like a guaranteed returner. September 20th through 24th, my birthday weekend. Spirited Away, again, another one practically guaranteed, coming back October 18th through 22nd. And my kind of segueing into the next bit, the one I'm most excited to see return to theaters, a little spoiler ahead for my part, The Boy and the Heron, coming back November 15th through 19th. How do we feel?
Very good lineup. It's an interesting lineup to me because, like, a lot of them, out of all of them, Grave of the Fireflies and Secret World of Arrietty are the 2, or maybe Arrietty has been on the lineup recently. I don't know, but I feel like it hasn't.
It was last year, but because of an anniversary, I'm more okay with. Well, I shouldn't say okay. I'm happy it's coming back so I can see it either way because I missed out last year. It was in the summer. It was the reason so many came out last year was I would assume the anniversaries. I think also Grave of the Fireflies actually has an anniversary this year. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, people. Comment. But I do think, because usually I think the deciding factor outside of just popularity, like which ones do well, like Totoro, Howl, Spirited Away, and Princess Mononoke, those 3 always do well. I always see them on the roster. I think it's anniversaries.
Outside of that reasoning, it seems kind of random.
Well, the reason I say this is because usually they have like a little tag on their Instagram post, like anniversary, 10th anniversary, 20th anniversary, 15th, 5, I don't care. Again, popularity, Boy and the Heron, I would assume. Ponyo is pretty often there. Kiki's is often there. The only 2 that are odd are Fireflies and Arrietty. And I would assume Grave of the Fireflies maybe either cycles through the fest every few years or it's an anniversary. Arrietty, not sure why it's back. Maybe it just did really well in theaters last year. Who knows? But which one are you excited to see come back, Audrey?
My favorite, or my one that I'm most excited to see is Grave of the Fireflies.
Yes.
Because even though it hasn't been, like, in Ghibli Fest in, like, however long. The first, and I was talking about this before, but the first and only time that I've ever seen Grave of the Fireflies was when I was 12 or 13 or something like that. And I think I had already seen Spirited Away and possibly Totoro. I don't remember. I had, like, been introduced to Ghibli previously, and I heard about that one because it was known as, like, one of the sadder Ghibli movies, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of intrigued about that.
I think it's still known as that.
Yeah, it's, like, the depressing one.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe I'll check it out. And so the first and only time I saw it, it was like in the middle of the night on my iPhone 6, just like watching it, and I cried so much
Honestly,
during that
real.
movie.
The
But
So
like,
fair.
I'm excited.
Set.
It was such a good movie, but I'm
I
excited to see it
heard.
return so that I can see it
I'm so
not on my
excited to
phone.
see it. Yes. No, I get you. Even though I say I will see these two I haven't seen, I also might see some of the ones I have seen because they're just so fun to see in theaters.
Mhm.
Speaking of which, I'm definitely seeing The Boy and the Heron in theaters again. There's no way I'm not. I need to see it in a theater again. I have the DVD, but I haven't watched it, I think. Maybe I watched it once in theaters, not sure. I vaguely recall maybe seeing it in my room, but I don't really remember. But I just am just so happy to get a chance to see it in theaters again, even though it hasn't even been a year, I think, since it's come out. It came out in December 2023, so it's been almost 2 years. So it'll be almost 2 years when it airs again.
It's the one that I am also most excited to see in theaters. Going back to just a couple minutes ago where I said that I don't think I really understood it the first time and I thought it was kind of weird. I think the story just kind of like, maybe not even
Yeah.
just the story, just the movie itself just kind of bounced off of me. I did not let it into my heart for some reason I can't explain.
No,
But
I get that.
I'm excited to give it an attempt to, especially since you just said that even you think it's the kind of movie that might benefit from a repeat watch.
Yeah. And I think that's honestly a testament to just how much they pack into that movie. And not to say it's unnecessary. Like, I know sometimes it looks like there's like things that's like, why is this here? But it just makes sense if you settle down with it. However, it is a very fast-paced movie. So my warning, spoiler, like no spoiler, as spoiler-free as possible for just the type of movie, it just be expected to be thrown into something and just go with it the first time you see it. Just you have to go with it. Otherwise, your brain will probably miss out on what's happening. But then watch it a second time, either immediately after or let it rest and sit, mull it over for a little bit. But definitely you have to watch it a second time to really appreciate what's going on in that film.
I'm looking forward to it because I do remember all Ghibli films are like this, but this one in particular, just to look at, is insanely
gorgeous.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Insanely beautiful.
Yes.
And I don't really want to describe it as camera angles because it's an animated movie, but
You mean cinematography?
somehow the shots, like they
Mhm.
look, it's more interesting than some of the other ones are.
I think that's fair. I think because of the setting, that's totally valid. I concur. I'm excited for this roster. One's already happened, but I'm hoping to maybe catch most of the rest coming out this year. Highly encouraged for anyone listening to, please, if you haven't, definitely see them in theaters. And if you already have, try it again, see them in theaters. Since Kiki has already happened, I feel like it's fair we can talk about it. If you haven't seen it, spoilers. And if you don't care, we're talking anyway. Audrey, how do you feel about spoilers? Do you want to like still marry in the conversation, or?
I'm fine with spoilers because I will watch it eventually, but like
Okay.
I feel like it being described, I don't know how to explain it really, but I think
It's-
even with it being
yeah.
spoiled, it's still an experience.
I will say it's definitely one of the few I think being spoiled doesn't impact whatsoever.
Yeah,
It's
fair.
one of those movies, you know how I was describing earlier that there's some films that have plot and some that just have events that happen?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those movies that from beginning to end, like nothing really happened when you think about it.
There's a little.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's more character introspective than it is
Yes.
anything happening in the world.
It's
Okay.
just a couple months of the main character's life
Yeah.
and you're just tagging along.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
plot is less of an external like journey and an internal one.
There's no
Mhm.
conflict.
No conflict.
Yeah, that makes
Well,
that makes sense.
there's an
sort of.
emotional conflict. And
There
that's-
is, but there's not in the way that some of
outside.
the other ones. There's not, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Again, external, internal. This is very much internal, so I don't think spoiling's gonna hurt the vibe at all. The vibe is what it
Yeah.
is. You're not gonna be. It's not detrimental in my opinion to
Mhm.
be spoiled on it. But Carol, have you seen it?
Yes, Kiki's is the first one that I ever saw.
Really?
Kiki's was my first Ghibli film.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
because of that, it always has a place
Yeah.
in my heart that
Yep.
it's placed, and nothing anyone ever says could ever take it out. It's one of my favorites.
I understand you
Real.
completely. My first was Spirited Away.
It's one of those movies that if I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a good day, if I'm having a crazy day, if I'm just at home, it's just one of those movies that I'll put on the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll sit and pay attention to it, or maybe I'll be like up and doing other things. I've seen it so many times that to me it's background noise, but it's
Yeah.
the most nostalgic and calming background noise.
For sure.
I love the music
Music's really
The
nice.
music is so whimsical and fun.
It's so fun. It's just cute. It's like, I don't know how to describe it other than fun and cute, really.
Fun and cute in the way that carnival music is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
but not
fun.
like,
Fun.
yeah. But it's also like calming in a way. It's just nice and peaceful
Exactly.
to listen to.
And Kiki's is one of the films that I do feel very strongly about the dub versus the sub. I think that the English dub of Kiki's is hilarious.
It is really funny.
I love it. I love the cat. Audrey does a
However,
cat, and the cat is a very important character.
yes, however, I gotta disappoint you. I love sub Gigi, but more than dub Gigi.
It's
Gigi's
okay.
the cat.
It's totally fine. I'm a big
Oh.
fan of the American Gigi.
I think this is probably my second least favorite Ghibli film that I've seen.
That's
Not
okay.
that it's bad, but there's one problem in it, which is spoilers. So click off or I don't know, go away, don't listen to this. Mute, doesn't matter. Gigi stops talking, and I hate that. I know why. I understand completely why, and it makes sense. I still don't like that he never gets to talk again at the end of the movie, and that's why it's probably so low. Is I love Gigi. He's the reason I love that film. I can't forgive that.
Yeah. It's like, just to add, I don't even know how to add context to this. If you've never seen Kiki's and you don't,
we gotta
hear
give context
it,
for
just,
Audrey.
like, skip this part of the video. Just like throw the scroll bar forward and just pick another spot because we're gonna be talking about it for a minute.
Yeah,
But-
maybe like go 10 minutes forward.
What's the symbolism of her growing up? Because she's like 13 and she's like on this. It's like a coming of age style journey.
Yeah.
And so she's growing up and like childish things are kind of fading away, and even though she's still happy and she's still going to be like a well-rounded positive person, like childhood whimsy just does kind of fade no matter who you are. And so the fact that she can no longer have audible conversations with her cat is the way that we see that.
I will also, in case you don't know, Kiki's a witch, so this is why she communicates with her black cat Gigi.
She's a
He's
witch.
magical. He is a magical cat.
So is it? Oh, because when you said he stops talking, I like immediately assumed like, oh, he got like cursed or something. But is it just
No.
like?
Oh,
No,
She
because
has to,
throughout
because it
the
would be
movie, Kiki is dealing with this idea of, I grew up as a witch, and I thought that was great, but other girls get to experience things I don't as a witch in training. And I'm losing out on that.
Oh.
I'm losing out on what other preteens my age are getting to experience because of being a witch. And I also have no direction of what I want to do with my powers. And so she basically, in my interpretation, wishes her powers away, and that's what stops her to stop hearing Gigi. He becomes a normal cat because she knows she's reducing her own powers because she's subconsciously thinking, I don't want to be a witch for her future.
right. Like
Oh.
it's a coming of age journey, right? So she's over the course of the film, these adult feelings of insecurity and fear and rejection and confusion that she's never dealt with before because she grew up in a safe, happy, healthy environment, and now she's kind of on her own going through this little emotional journey. Yeah. So she loses the ability to talk to her cat, or maybe she chooses to lose the ability to talk to her cat.
She clearly doesn't like not being able to hear Gigi anymore and is upset, but she doesn't realize she's kind of the reason she can't hear him anymore because of her own feelings and insecurities have basically brought this to life.
Oh, I see. Okay, I get why. Like, I sort of understand why you're mad that he stopped talking then.
No,
But also I get like the other side of it being like, it makes sense, but it also is like sad.
I get why he doesn't talk. However, by the end of the movie, basically Kiki does accept her like heritage as a witch. Granted, she's not receiving 100% of her powers back. To my interpretation, she gets like maybe 80% back, if that. But I'm just upset Gigi's not part of that 80%.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It's just, he's a really fun character in tandem with her for like the first 40 minutes of the film, and it goes away and you kind of don't realize it immediately, and then all of a sudden an hour has gone by and you haven't heard the cat.
You haven't heard the cat, and you see him with his cat girlfriend, and I'm like, props to you, but come on, talk. I need to hear you. You sassy little guy.
I really want to watch this now because that is interesting. I'm sure that the way they go about that is really cool.
When I say least favorite, it's just because of the Gigi thing. I still think it's a phenomenal story. It's really nice.
It's not one of my huge favorites either. It does have a special place in my heart, and it always will, because it was the first one I ever watched. But earlier, you may or may not have noticed that this was not one of my top three. because I really, really like the ones with more complicated plots or a more defined beginning conflict resolution, and this movie is not like that. It's much easier to watch.
I think part of it too is having seen it as an adult, it's a lot harder to connect. Like, I remember that part of my life, but I also never, this is just a me thing, this is different for everyone, but I never, like, was I upset I was missing things out because of myself? Yes, but I still always chose my preferences of what I like to do over other people, and that still meant I missed out on things, but it was the opposite problem kind of thing.
You don't relate to the story as much.
I don't relate to it as much. Yeah, exactly. Again, I think it's one of my least favorite. Like, Ponyo, I would say also kind of down there. Again, still really fun, but also kind of not much happening. And also, I get the point. Still not a fan of two little kids loving each other. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think Ponyo's kind of boring.
Ponyo's kind of eh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Ponyo is... It's fun to watch because it's so good. The colors in that movie.
The colors. To me, it's like Kiki, where, like, if you muted it, you'd have the same exact vibe. Looking at it as you would,
it's
like,
fun to look at, but not to engage
not that that's bad, but it's just a different type of movie that probably I would never say is going to be spectacular to everyone.
You're kind of right. Plot-wise, there's honestly so little going on externally in Kiki's that watching it with full volume and watching it muted would be almost the same experience.
You could just play the score on your phone with the TV muted and get the same information, I think. Not that it's bad.
You don't need the dialogue.
Yeah, you could watch it and figure it out, I think, with context clues. But again, I do like the realistic take of, like, self-fulfilling prophecy. It's really cool for Kiki. Secret World of Already is the one coming up next. We want to try and talk about it, save it for next episode, or just, like, have any of us seen it? I, again, have not.
Yes.
I haven't.
Okay, Carol. Let's see it.
Keep this one away. All right. I'm going to tell y'all a secret, and it's not going to be a secret anymore because I'm going to put it on YouTube unless I choose to edit it out.
Yeah.
But I watched this movie. I actually didn't finish it because 8 p.m. on Sunday, June 15th, when we're recording this episode, 8 o'clock that day happened when there were still about 15 minutes left in the film. I was watching it today while I was...
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
So when I say I watched this, I watched it like an hour ago.
Okay. While eating dinner.
So, very fresh in my head. What do I think about it?
If it's spoiler-free, please.
Okay, I'll be as spoiler-free as possible.
Yeah, spoiler-free as possible. Yeah.
Okay, well, the concept of it, have any of y'all seen the Disney movie or heard of the story, The Borrowers?
Yeah, I've seen the trailer.
That's the plot. I don't have to spoil it.
Cool.
That's it.
Okay.
In terms of art, oh my god, the painted backgrounds in this one, phenomenal. Really? It's so pretty.
I'm excited.
It's so pretty. It's one of the movies where the setting is just like a house seemingly connected to no one and nothing in nature. With trees and grass and bugs, and again, there's a cat. This cat does not talk at any point in the film.
Yeah.
I regret to inform you. The cat is silent. But
as most cats are.
It's great. I guess the main plot is the main girl, Arietti. She's a borrower. This isn't really spoiling because the story already exists. It's not an original. So the thing of the borrowers is that there's very small humans. I guess you could call them fairies, but they don't have wings.
Okay.
They're like 4 inches tall, and they're people. But also full-size people, as we are, also exist. Yeah. And the borrowers have no choice but to live alongside the people and take small things from the people that they need to live, like little bits of soap and food. But it's very important to the borrowers' culture that they are not noticed. Of course, what is the immediate conflict? Arietti gets noticed. Of course, right? That's
yeah.
So, but luckily she gets noticed by the youngest of the full-size humans, who's like he's a young boy. He might be 12, and he respects her and wants to like help her out. And the rest of the movie is just kind of them two, working on. Yeah.
Cool. I'm happy.
Like
I'm excited.
The main thing I enjoyed about it was just how pretty it was to look at. But I feel like that's my main takeaway from most Ghibli films.
That's so fair. They're always. I can't think of a single one that looks bad.
Me neither.
Just beautiful.
It did not immediately trump out any of my other favorites.
That's fair. I feel like that's a pretty normal thing. Like, again, I watched Spirited Away as my first one, so it's not like I was thinking, oh, they're all this tier, but it definitely was like, watching Totoro. Totoro was great, actually. That's a bad example. Watching Kiki's or Ponyo after it, it's definitely like, oh yeah, this isn't as good. Doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
Yeah.
I would put, if we could call our 3 tiers, Ponyo, Spirited Away, and Nausicaa,
Yeah.
in levels of complexity,
Yep.
this one's in the middle. This is
Okay.
about on par with Spirited Away or Castle in the Sky
Got it.
in level of complexity of plot
Cool.
and
Okay.
character development.
I'm down for that. I'm always down for complexity and plot.
It's cute, and even
Yeah.
though it's not an original story, they did a really good job with it.
I mean, neither is The Wind Rises, yet I love it.
Mm.
I guess original isn't the right word. It's based on a true story, I guess is a better way of putting it. But yes.
Mm. I
Yeah,
guess
this is
Howl
based on-
technically not an original either. Or
Which
not
one?
an Howl's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not original.
It's not
It's,
original.
it's also very much, from what I know, a very creative it's an adaptation that takes liberties, is what I've heard.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I never finished it, but I started the book and already I think I got like maybe a quarter of the way through it and I need to pick
Ooh.
it back up. But
Okay.
it is very different. Like there's a lot
Like better
more
different, or
happening
like
with
you think
Sophie specifically,
equally?
I feel like.
Okay.
Like you get more on her. But to be fair, I think the movie, not to like tangent into Howl's, but I think
Yeah, go for
to
it.
be fair, the movie focuses on like I'm pretty sure that it's focused on one of the books and not because there's 3 of them. Like it's a
Okay.
trilogy. So I think that the movie only focuses on the story from like the first one or something, or maybe yeah, because the first one is called Howl's Moving Castle. So I believe it's focused on that one. But even in that book, it takes liberties with it because you get more. From what I remember, you get more about Sophie and her family before you get into Howl at all, which like you do get in the movie, but not as much.
Like
I don't
briefly,
think.
you see a sister.
Yeah. You know she
I guess-
has parents. I get like yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's pretty common for an adaptation of one book per one movie to take
Mhm.
liberties in adaptation in general. I was just curious because I know I don't want to say a beloved book because I've only ever heard of it because of the movie, but I guess it must be
Yeah.
pretty well liked to have spot the eye to get a movie,
Yeah.
I guess, if
It
that
must
makes
have been
sense.
well loved enough that someone wanted to make a movie adaptation.
Yeah, like How to
True.
Train Your Dragon was beautifully loved and got a movie, an entire series and trilogy too.
We're not going to talk about that movie. That is a hot topic right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did the live action come out?
I don't think did it? I
It's
thought
out.
it was.
It's out? Oh, well, I'm still not seeing it. I love the original too much to care about seeing something that's scene for scene, copy paste.
Yeah, I was gonna
Anyway.
say it's the same thing.
Anyway.
But yeah, so Arrietty, based off of that book that came out in like the 1950s. I don't know.
Okay.
If you've ever seen Disney's The Borrowers, almost the same. But of course, Ghibli, so it's beautiful. Am I gonna go to the theater and see this one when it's time? Just like all Ghibli films, it's just wonderful to see the gorgeous art displayed on the largest surface possible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Am I gonna pay $17 to see it at the Regal?
Yeah.
Don't
fair.
call me out, Carol. Don't call me out how much I spend to see a Regal Ghibli film.
I'm willing to shell that out, but maybe not for this one.
I'm willing to
That's
shell it
fair.
out because I haven't seen it.
We'll go.
I think
I'll go
okay.
with you.
Yeah, hey, we can all make it a movie night. I'm down for that.
We should go.
Mm.
Yeah.
If y'all
Audrey,
just
if
want
you're
to
in
come
town.
over and watch it on my television because I have HBO Max and we can watch it for free. And I
Actually-
Oh, true.
Actually,
forgot.
I would love that. I would love that probably more. Save
Yeah,
money,
me
but watch
too.
it with friends. On your apartment. No, I'm not gonna dox you, but like beautiful.
Here is your address.
Please don't release the internet
I
where I
don't,
live.
Carol. I literally couldn't tell you your address if I wanted to.
Don't tell our beautiful viewers at home. It's okay. Some things.
She's
Someday-
in 123. You'll never know Avenue.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, I gotta write that down.
Well, shoot, Quincy. Now they're gonna start sending me spiders in the mail.
no.
Dang it.
It's okay. Sasha will take care of them. She'll be at home instead of you.
She will.
Not to call it your roommate, but
My
yeah.
lovely roommate who's on the other side of a closed door right now, definitely listening to this conversation.
But yeah, actually, I'm down to do a movie night because like I would love to see it in theaters, but I also love saving money. So
Yeah, same.
We're poor college kids, guys. Don't judge us.
Yeah.
yeah, I paid way too much that 2023 year. Guys, saw 9 movies in theaters at do the math. Pretty expensive. Pretty expensive.
Yeah. As much as I love the theater, I have a cat now.
Yeah.
I gotta save my money where I can. I mean, she's not that expensive. I say that, but like, still.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm down to make it a movie night next week.
We'll yap about it.
We'll yap about it.
Mhm.
Obviously, you know, I want to see it. Audrey, excluding the whole bit about potentially not seeing in theaters, do you want to see it at all?
Variety, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm interested enough to want to go see it, yeah.
Yeah, probably like not pay money though. Kind of
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah, fair. That's so fair. I would pay money, but if I could avoid paying money, I will. So we'll see about making this a thing.
Mhm.
But since we do have a little more time than I expected, before moving on to like plug-in for next episode, I kind of want to know what are all of our top 5 Ghibli films are. I presume we've all seen at least 5. What would your top 5 be? Top down, starting same pattern as usual for the last few combos. Audrey, start us off. Top down, because
You go
it's easier to
first,
pick
'cause
the first.
I know my top like 3,
Yeah.
but not 5.
Okay. I got you. So my top, very close, tied, like practically tied. Boy and the Heron and Wind Rises. I just love them. I'm not gonna go too deep into it for Boy and the Heron because I already talked about it. Wind Rises. It's a true story involving World War II. That's all I'll say about it. But it's also just so really good. My third will probably be Nausicaa. I love Nausicaa. I think the only thing that detracts from it and probably why it's not my top, and it's not that the score is not fitting for it, it's just so 80s and so it's so not a score I would ever want to listen to not in the movie, which I would think every other Ghibli score I would love to listen to not while watching it. You know, it's just as good
so
without
right.
watching it. But in Nausicaa's fits, it works. It helps the whole dystopian aspect, but it's just so 80s. I can't sometimes. But it's a beautiful story, and I love it either way. Let's see. I think 4 for me is Spirited Away. Not just because I saw it first, but because it's a fantastic watch for me either way. Love it. Beautiful. Haven't seen it. Please see it. Looks so gorgeous. It's just a fun world, I think, too, to be in. And just very, very, I don't know, intriguing the whole way through, right? Like, even now, I still want to learn more about those characters, but I know I never will, which is a little sad. But 5, okay, this is the tough one. But I do think, if I had to pick, as of right now, Whisper of the Heart, for sure. Totoro almost cinched it. I think it'd be a 6 for me, but I think Whisper of the Heart is just so relatable and just so iconic. I mean, guys, it created Lo-Fi Girl.
Oh, true.
Do I need to say more?
I forgot about that.
Yep. What about you, Audrey?
Okay, so my top is obviously Princess Mononoke, because that one, something about it. I loved Ashitaka as a character in that movie, and following him is so. I also just like, this is kind of random for talking about that movie, but I saw a post one time about how like realistic they make the bow in that movie and how like powerful and dangerous they portray it as a weapon compared to like other movies that I guess like have the bow as a weapon in it. It's not really like seen as a threat as much in comparison to like a gun or something. But in that movie, it's like
the bow was the most dangerous weapon.
Yeah. And like they really do a good job portraying it in that movie. And like after seeing, I don't know, this contributes to my enjoyment of the movie like only a little bit, but it's just it's cool. It's something cool about the movie that I love. Ashitaka, I like Son, but I think I like Ashitaka more as a character.
I get you.
I think it falls under the umbrella of like, I forget what movie we made it, but under the category of like you're following a plot and it's also like borderline, if not completely political in its messaging, which I really like. So that's my number 1 forever and always. I think number 2. So my number 2, I think, is not necessarily my favorite in terms of like what's going on in the movie, but I would have to say Howls, because that one I associate with like my friend back home, because like that's her favorite movie, or her maybe not her favorite movie ever, but definitely her favorite Ghibli movie. When we watch it together a lot, and so like that one is another one that has a special place in my heart. 3, I would say, I want to say Spirited Away, to be honest. That one,
Okay.
that one's the one that I saw first, and even though it's not like my favorite movie, it's definitely, that one's so good. And even though it's not my number one, it's definitely up there. My number 4, ooh,
It's rough.
I was gonna
isn't
say Totoro. I don't know. Honestly, Totoro's probably my number 4. It's
Yeah.
definitely not my favorite Ghibli movie, but like out of the ones that I've seen, I
Well,
would rate
it's
it pretty
clearly not your
highly.
favorite because it's not number one.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah.
true about all of them, but like out of the section of the ones that I've seen, it's definitely like it's up there. It's not my favorite, but it's a fun time. Actually, I'm gonna change my mind immediately after saying that.
Yep.
I would rank Boy in the Heron above that, and then Totoro last.
Yes.
Because like,
okay,
I kind of
Sorry,
forgot
cut
about
me.
Boy and the Heron being involved, but yeah, it's like you were saying earlier, it definitely benefits from watching it twice. And I would have to, it's been a minute since I've seen it both times.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I would have to go back and watch it again to kind of appreciate it more. But I remember just both the fact that like I saw it with friends back home and with you contributes to it a little bit. The experience, both
Yeah.
the movie itself and who I'm seeing it with, is like, yeah, that's a favorite. And then I think last is Totoro, because it's good. It's a fun movie.
Yeah. No, I totally get you. Actually, kind of to build off of, I think part of the reason I love a lot of the Ghibli movies we saw together, I love a lot more, might be because I saw them with a friend, as opposed to just alone in a theater with strangers. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna not like this, but I think Princess Mononoke sits very middle of the pack for me. Not because I don't dislike I dislike what's happening or anything, but I do think there was a point in the movie where I just actually, and this could have been like, I can't remember at this point, it's been a minute, but I could have just very well been hearing someone talk or something next to me and just got taken out of it that way. But there was a point where I was like, I don't know, I kind of could just not watch this thing like with sound on and could get the same information, which isn't bad. But I do think those type of movies I like less for Ghibli. But I will say it's probably got one of the best Ghibli scores, for sure.
Yeah, the score in that, it's so good.
So good. Yeah, Carol, what about your top 5?
My top 5, and
Top down.
Starting with number 1.
Yep.
Okay, I had to look them up to make sure I didn't forget anything.
You're so good.
My number 1, we already covered this, Whisper of the Heart.
Yep.
It's just up there for me. It just gets me the most.
Yeah.
And then my second one is Porco Rosso, mostly because
Porco.
I really like planes.
Planes are fun.
Planes are fun. And it's like the one film where the main character isn't a kid. I mean, I'm sure there are other ones, but most of them, the main characters are children or teenagers. And there's one of the main characters is a teenage girl, but the like actual emotional journey is an adult who's like at least 40. Yeah. And it's just a different kind of story. And the setting is just really clearly defined. It's really cool. I just really like that one. Yeah. I think my third one is Nausicaa, for all the wonderful reasons that have already been listed. Love it. And then I think I already discussed those 3. So my 4 and my 5, I believe. And let's try to put them in order so we know which one goes first.
Yes.
I think I'm going to put Castle in the Sky at 4. And Spirited Away at 5.
Solid picks.
Thank you.
I haven't watched Castle in the Sky in a while. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think some of the reasons why it's probably not ever going to be in my top 10 is just because it's a little too predictable for me. Like when I first watched it, it was like, not that it's bad. Also, to add, it was also what I watched without friends, so that could have been part of it.
Oh no!
I 2023, I guess I shouldn't have said we watched all the Ghibli movies that year, because I know Audrey can immediately vehemently deny that I chose to watch every Ghibli Fest movie that year in theaters. So most were with Audrey. And then the ones over summer, and then like not Porco. It's either Porco Rosso or Wind Rises I watched without in August as well. This was our Ghibli episode, obviously featuring our special guest, our amazing producer, Caroline. Say hi again.
I was so glad to be here. This was so fun.
Our next episode, for sure, we're we're going to talk about upcoming summer anime. There is a lot to cover. Might also have a little final thoughts on spring, a little fun anime game, potentially depending on how time goes, so we'll plug those there. Would you like to join? I know you promised for Ghibli because it's stuff you've seen, but would you be interested in talking about summer anime, or just like table it for now and just see how we feel next episode?
We'll see how we feel next episode. I'll make an appearance at some point, and even if I don't, y'all can be rest assured that I am here.
Hey guys, as long as you see her name in the credits as producer, she's still here, guys. Again, now we're weekly, so once this comes out, expect another one to come out a week later. So yeah, stay tuned for our next episode. And once again, alongside our special guest, I'm Quincy Lell.
And I'm Audrey Williams.
And I'm Caroline Smith.
Thanks for listening, y'all.